Faith plays a significant role in many religions around the world, often as an unwavering belief in doctrines or divine entities. But what about Buddhism? A philosophy often regarded as pragmatic, rational, and introspective. Does it require faith to follow its teachings? Surprisingly, the answer is yes, but not the type of blind faith typically associated with religion. In this article, we'll explore the nuanced role of faith in Buddhism, how it differs from conventional definitions, and why it's a vital aspect of the Buddhist path. By the end of this discussion, you'll not only understand what Saddha means, but also discover practical ways to cultivate this faith in your own life. Let's begin with what the Buddha himself said about faith, unravel the misconceptions, and dive deep into the transformative power of experiential confidence in Buddhism. To begin, let's clarify what faith means in Buddhism. In the Pali language, faith is called Saddha, or Shraddha in Sanskrit. It signifies confidence, trust, and conviction, particularly in the Buddha's enlightenment and teachings, Dhamma. At first glance, this may sound similar to faith in other religions, but the distinction lies in its approach. The Buddha discouraged blind faith, unquestioned belief without understanding or evidence. Instead, he emphasized experiential faith, trust that arises from direct experience, reflection, and self-discovery. Take a moment to think about this difference. Blind faith often asks us to accept ideas without question. In contrast, Buddhism invites us to explore, question, and verify truths for ourselves. This principle is beautifully encapsulated in the Buddha's advice. Do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it. Do not believe in traditions because they have been handed down for many generations. But after observation and analysis, when you find that anything agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. This teaching transforms faith into an active, participatory process rather than passive acceptance. The Buddha outlined 5 common ways people develop belief, and he encouraged practitioners to move beyond them. 1. Faith through tradition, Saddha believing in something simply because it's part of family or cultural traditions. 2. Faith through preference, Rusi, believing in ideas because they appeal to personal tastes or preferences. 3. Faith through hearsay, Anasava accepting beliefs based on what others say, without questioning their validity. 4. Faith through logic, Akara belief grounded in intellectual reasoning, but without practical application. 5. Faith through personal views, Dithi, aligning with ideas because they match one's pre-existing opinions. These forms of faith are inherently limited. They may offer comfort or intellectual satisfaction, but they don't lead to transformation. The Buddha urged his followers to move beyond these by cultivating faith rooted in direct experience and practice. Imagine walking through a dark forest. You hear someone claim there's a breathtaking view waiting at the summit. You could 1. Trust their word blindly and follow their path. 2. Question their claim but decide to investigate for yourself. 3. Dismiss their claim entirely, refusing to explore. Buddhism encourages the second approach. Faith, in this context, isn't just belief. It's an ongoing journey of discovery. Here's an analogy the Buddha used to explain this process. Faith is the seed. Austerity is the rain. Wisdom is my yoke and plow, and mindfulness my plowshare and goad. Faith, Saddha, acts as the seed of the spiritual path. However, for the seed to grow, it requires effort, viriya, mindfulness, sati, and wisdom, panna. These qualities nurture faith and transform it into confidence born of experience. Consider a dark room where neither you nor your friend can see. Suddenly, lightning strikes, briefly illuminating a statue in the room. You glimpse the statue clearly, but your friend sees only the flash. Later, you describe the statue to them. They can choose to believe you based on trust, or they can approach the area themselves, searching for their own understanding. This analogy mirrors faith in Buddhism. Trust in the Buddha's enlightenment and teachings is the starting point, but true confidence comes from personal experience. Just as your friend's belief would be solidified by seeing the statue themselves, a practitioner's faith grows through practice and realization. Interestingly, Buddhism doesn't demand blind obedience. It welcomes healthy skepticism. Doubt, when approached with curiosity, is a powerful tool for growth. The Buddha once advised his disciples to challenge even his teachings, saying, "Do not accept my words on blind faith. Test them as you would test gold through fire." This openness to questioning sets Buddhism apart. Doubt isn't an obstacle to faith, but a stepping stone. By resolving doubts through exploration, practitioners cultivate deeper confidence in the path. How can you develop faith as described in Buddhism? Here are 3 practical steps. 1. Start with mindfulness. Begin observing your thoughts and actions without judgment. Mindfulness, sati, forms the foundation of experiential practice. 2. Reflect on teachings. Read the Buddha's teachings, Dhamma, and reflect on their relevance to your life. Ask, how does this apply to me? 3. Practice meditation. Use meditation to explore these teachings deeply. As you cultivate calm and insight, you'll start seeing the truths described by the Buddha. For example, if you struggle with anger, reflect on the Buddha's advice about compassion. Observe how applying this advice changes your interactions, confirming its effectiveness. Developing faith isn't an instant process. It's like planting a seed and nurturing it daily. The Buddha himself encouraged patience and perseverance, reminding us that transformation takes time. If you're skeptical about certain teachings, start small. Experiment with mindfulness or loving-kindness meditation. Over time, as you see positive changes in your mind and relationships, your confidence will grow naturally. Faith in Buddhism is not about surrendering your intellect. It's about engaging it fully. Through mindfulness, reflection, and practice, faith transforms from a fragile seed into unshakable confidence. This exploration of faith is only the beginning. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into the practical implications of faith, how it intersects with wisdom, and why questioning is essential to the path. Stay tuned as we continue this journey of discovery. Faith and wisdom are often seen as opposing forces, one rooted in belief, the other in knowledge. However, in Buddhism, these 2 qualities are deeply interconnected. The Buddha described faith, Saddha, and wisdom, panna, as 2 wings of a bird. Both are essential for spiritual growth. Faith inspires us to begin the journey, trusting that the teachings have value. Wisdom, on the other hand, allows us to verify and deepen that trust through personal experience. Without faith, we might never take the first step. Without wisdom, we risk getting lost in blind devotion. Together, they create a balanced path. Consider this. Without faith, how would you commit to a new practice? Let's take meditation as an example. You may read about its benefits, improved focus, reduced stress, greater emotional balance, but unless you trust these claims enough to try it, the benefits remain theoretical. Faith acts as the initial spark. It motivates us to step into the unknown, even when doubt lingers. But here's where Buddhism diverges from blind faith. Once you begin meditating, the results become your evidence. With each moment of calm and clarity, faith shifts from belief to knowing. This process of transformation, from faith to wisdom, lies at the heart of Buddhist practice. The Buddha frequently taught about the middle way, a principle of balance and moderation. This applies not just to ethical conduct but also to how we approach faith. Blindly accepting teachings without questioning leads to passivity. On the other hand, excessive doubt can create cynicism, preventing us from exploring new possibilities. The middle way invites us to hold both faith and skepticism in balance. To illustrate this, consider the act of learning to swim. At first, you trust your instructor, even though you may fear the water. This trust allows you to enter the pool and practice. Over time, as your skills improve, your initial faith evolves into confidence born of experience. In the same way, faith in Buddhism is not about surrendering reason. It's about temporarily trusting the process so you can discover the truth for yourself. Faith in Buddhism becomes truly meaningful when applied to everyday life. Let's explore 3 scenarios where experiential faith plays a transformative role. 1. Overcoming anxiety through mindfulness. Imagine someone struggling with anxiety. They hear about mindfulness meditation and decide to try it, despite skepticism. First, their faith rests on others' recommendations. They trust the practice might help. Through consistent effort, they begin noticing changes. Moments of calm replace racing thoughts. Confidence grows as their experience confirms the teachings. Over time, what started as tentative faith becomes unshakable trust in the power of mindfulness. This is the essence of Buddhist faith: putting teachings into practice, observing the results, and letting those results strengthen your conviction. 2. Building compassion in difficult relationships. Now, think of someone facing conflict with a difficult coworker. They read about Metta-bhavana, loving-kindness meditation, and its ability to transform relationships. Despite doubts, they decide to try it. During meditation, they send thoughts of goodwill to their coworker. Over time, they notice subtle shifts. Their resentment softens, replaced by empathy. Interactions become less strained. Faith in the practice grows because it delivers tangible results. This example highlights how Buddhist faith requires active participation. It's not about wishing for change, but taking deliberate steps to create it. 3. Healing through ethical living. Finally, consider someone struggling with guilt over past actions. They encounter the Buddhist principle of right conduct, sila, and decide to live more ethically. First, their faith is tentative. Can simple actions like honesty and generosity really make a difference? Yet as they practice, they notice a growing sense of peace and self-respect. Faith deepens as they witness the transformative power of ethical living. One of Buddhism's unique aspects is its recognition that faith evolves over time. It begins as trust in teachings, matures through practice, and culminates in wisdom. This evolution is beautifully captured in the Buddha's teaching of the Kalama Sutta, where he advises a group of villagers: do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor. But when you know for yourselves that certain things are wholesome, blameless, praised by the wise, and lead to benefit and happiness, then enter upon and abide in them. In other words, faith is not static. It's an active, dynamic process of testing and confirming truths through direct experience. How can we apply these principles of faith in today's fast-paced world? Here are practical tips to integrate Buddhist faith into daily life. 1. Start small. Faith doesn't require grand gestures. Begin with small, manageable practices, such as 5 minutes of meditation or a single act of kindness each day. For example, if you're skeptical about mindfulness, commit to observing your breath for 1 week. Notice how this simple act influences your thoughts and emotions. 2. Embrace doubt as a tool. Don't be afraid to question teachings or practices. In Buddhism, doubt isn't an obstacle. It's an opportunity for growth. For instance, if you hear that meditation reduces anger, test it. Observe how meditation influences your responses during challenging situations. Let the results guide your faith. 3. Reflect on personal experiences. Take time to reflect on moments when faith has played a role in your life. Perhaps you trusted a friend's advice or followed your intuition, leading to positive outcomes. These reflections can strengthen your trust in the process of discovery. 4. Seek community support. Faith often flourishes in supportive communities. Join a meditation group or engage with others exploring Buddhism. Shared experiences can reinforce your confidence in the path. For example, hearing stories of transformation from fellow practitioners may inspire you to persevere in your own journey. While Buddhism encourages self-discovery, teachers play a crucial role in nurturing faith. A skilled teacher provides guidance, answers questions, and helps resolve doubts. However, the Buddha cautioned against blind allegiance to any teacher. He advised evaluating their teachings through personal experience. This balance ensures that faith remains grounded in reality. As the Buddha famously said, just as a goldsmith tests gold by burning, cutting, and rubbing it, so should you examine my words and accept them not out of reverence, but only after testing them for yourself. Faith isn't always easy. Life's challenges, loss, failure, uncertainty can shake our confidence. In such moments, Buddhism offers a profound insight. Faith isn't about clinging to certainty. It's about embracing uncertainty with courage. Consider the story of Kisagami, a woman overcome with grief after losing her child. Seeking solace, she approached the Buddha, who instructed her to find a mustard seed from a household untouched by death. Her search revealed the universality of suffering, leading her to realize that faith lies in accepting life's impermanence. This story illustrates how faith in Buddhism isn't about escaping hardship, but facing it with wisdom and compassion. At this point in our journey, it's clear that faith in Buddhism is not passive belief, but active engagement. It's an invitation to question, explore, and grow. If this resonates with you, consider taking the next step, whether through mindfulness, ethical living, or deeper study of Buddhist teachings. Let your journey begin. And before we continue to part 3, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel, Buddhism in Modern Life. Join a community dedicated to exploring how these timeless teachings apply to our lives today. In the final part, we'll explore the ultimate fruition of faith, how it transforms not only individuals, but also the world around us. Stay tuned. In the final leg of this journey, we turn our attention to the ultimate purpose of faith in Buddhism: transformation and liberation. Faith isn't an endpoint. It's the foundation upon which the edifice of wisdom and compassion is built. Through faith, practitioners transcend suffering, discover inner peace, and contribute positively to the world around them. The Buddha likened faith to a seed. When nurtured through practice and wisdom, it grows into the tree of enlightenment. But what does liberation actually mean in the Buddhist context? Liberation, nibbana, is freedom from the cycle of suffering, dukkha, which stems from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. It's a profound state of peace and clarity that transcends ordinary existence. Faith plays a crucial role in this journey. Without faith, the path might seem insurmountable. But with trust in the teachings and the courage to apply them, practitioners gradually unshackle themselves from the bonds of suffering. Buddhist faith isn't confined to grand spiritual achievements. It's also expressed in small, everyday acts. These seemingly simple moments build the foundation for deeper transformation. 1. Faith in kindness. Consider the act of helping a stranger. You may not know the outcome, whether your kindness will be appreciated or reciprocated, yet you act, trusting that compassion has intrinsic value. Faith in kindness reflects the Buddhist principle of metta, loving kindness. Each act of generosity strengthens your connection to others and reinforces the belief that positive actions lead to positive outcomes. 2. Faith in letting go. Letting go is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of Buddhist practice. It requires faith to release attachments, whether to material possessions, relationships, or even personal identity. Imagine someone clinging to an unfulfilling job out of fear of change. Faith in the Buddhist principle of impermanence, anicca, allows them to let go, trusting that new opportunities will arise. Through these everyday acts, faith becomes a living force that shapes our lives and perspectives. While faith begins as an individual journey, its ripple effects extend far beyond. Communities rooted in Buddhist faith become agents of compassion, justice, and harmony. 1. Faith in ethical leadership. Buddhist leaders like the Dalai Lama embody faith in action. Guided by compassion and wisdom, they inspire others to address global challenges, from climate change to human rights, with ethical solutions. Their faith isn't blind optimism, but a deep conviction in humanity's potential for goodness. This faith motivates collective action and creates hope in the face of adversity. 2. Faith in interconnectedness. Buddhism teaches that all beings are interconnected. This principle inspires faith in our collective ability to create positive change. For example, grassroots movements focused on sustainability often draw on Buddhist teachings. Faith in the interdependence of life encourages people to protect the environment, understanding that the well-being of all species is intertwined. Faith in Buddhism isn't static. It deepens through ongoing reflection. The Buddha emphasized the importance of wise contemplation, yoniso manasikara, encouraging practitioners to continually examine their beliefs and actions. 1. Reflection on suffering. One way to deepen faith is by reflecting on personal experiences of suffering. Consider a time when you faced hardship and found strength through mindfulness or compassion. Such reflections reinforce the value of Buddhist practice. For instance, someone recovering from a difficult breakup might recall how meditation helped them navigate their emotions. This lived experience strengthens their faith in the transformative power of mindfulness. 2. Reflection on interpersonal growth. Another avenue for reflection is examining how faith influences relationships. Perhaps you've become more patient with a loved one or resolved conflicts with greater empathy. These moments serve as evidence that Buddhist principles are working in your life. No spiritual journey is without obstacles. Faith, too, is tested by doubt, fear, and external pressures. Buddhism offers practical tools for navigating these challenges. 1. Dealing with doubt. Doubt is a natural part of the path, often arising when progress feels slow or uncertain. The Buddha encouraged practitioners to view doubt as an opportunity for growth. One effective approach is seeking guidance from teachers or fellow practitioners. Sharing experiences can provide reassurance and clarity. Additionally, returning to foundational practices, such as mindfulness or chanting, can reignite faith. 2. Navigating external criticism. In today's skeptical world, practicing faith can invite criticism. Friends or family might question your choices, particularly if they don't share your beliefs. The key is remaining grounded in your own experience. When faith is rooted in personal transformation, external opinions lose their power to shake you. As we draw this exploration of faith in Buddhism to a close, let's reflect on the key insights we've uncovered. A faith is dynamic. It evolves from initial trust to experiential wisdom. A faith requires action. Practice is essential for transforming belief into knowing. A faith is liberating. It empowers us to overcome suffering and discover inner peace. A faith is compassionate. It inspires acts of kindness, ethical living, and social responsibility. I encourage you to take these insights to heart. Start small, perhaps with 5 minutes of meditation or a single act of kindness. Let your experiences guide you, and trust that each step brings you closer to the truths the Buddha illuminated. If this exploration resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, Buddhism in Modern Life. Together, we'll continue delving into how ancient teachings can enrich our modern lives. Let's grow this community of wisdom, compassion, and shared discovery. Faith in Buddhism is not about blind belief, but about trusting the process of self-discovery. It's a journey of courage, curiosity, and compassion. A journey that transforms not just individuals, but also the world. As you take your next step on this path, remember the Buddha's words. Do not believe in anything simply because you have heard it, but after observation and analysis. When you find that anything agrees with reason and is conducive to the good and benefit of one and all, then accept it and live up to it. Let this spirit of inquiry guide you. Trust the teachings, practice diligently, and let your own experiences illuminate the way. Nam Buddhaya.